I have heard a lot of bad things about Cairo city, but I recently visited myself and I'm still a bit confused about how I feel about it. So I'm going to share with you the places I saw, the food I tried, and whether or not it is actually full of aggressive scammers. And as always, I'll be sharing my film photography along the way. Now first, let's start off with exactly what you want to know about. The pyramids. Many people say that they come to see the Pyramids of Giza with high hopes, but this bucket list wonder of the world ends up somehow being ruined by pesky scammers. And I find it incredibly sad, because they're right. The pyramids are absolutely wicked, they have so much amazing history behind them, and when you're standing there amongst them, you feel this sense of awe, like it's something I've never felt before. And pyramids and mummies are something that we've all grown up learning about in our history lessons, so I feel like most people go there kind of having waited their entire lives to experience it. And then when you get there, you feel so vulnerable to all these scammers who are just trying to get you to fork over more money. It just ends up ruining the entirety of the day, which is a shame. However, this was not my experience. Now real quick, I just want to tell you about today's sponsor, Sunsama. If you've wondered how I've somehow ended up getting consistent with uploading videos whilst having a full-time job, Sunsama is a big part of it. It's literally my all-in-one solution for my to-do list, integrating that with my Google Calendar, and just planning my days. It looks aesthetic as hell, very easy to use, and promotes healthy working habits, as well as having productivity features galore. It beats out a ton of other tools that I've used in the past, so you should give it a try too. So hit that link in the description to get that free extended trial, and you don't even need to enter any card details. So like I was saying, this was not the experience that I had at the pyramids. I paid for a guide on getyourguide.com, not sponsored, for 2 people, 7 hours, hotel, drop off and pickup, okay? It cost £38 for the 2 of us. And this guide around the pyramids was batting away all these scammers like ping, ping, like little flies. And that's because he took ownership off us and he didn't want anyone affecting our experience. So the whole day, we didn't really experience any scammers. He took my wife and I on this day trip. He showed us where we were going, what we were looking at, orientated us, and I generally think that guides are so helpful in places like these. Like, I'm the type to believe that I could probably plan out a tour like this myself, but sometimes you just gotta be realistic. So we walked from one pyramid to another. He explained what all these mini pyramids and tombs were all about, history lessons, common misconceptions, and so much more. We even went to the Sphinx, the Step Pyramid in Saqqara, and he just kind of like adapted the day around what we felt like doing and didn't really feel like doing. So we actually ended up having an amazing time around the pyramids. Like, it ended up being exactly how I hoped it would be. However, something did upset me a little bit, which was that around one of the smaller pyramids and the associated tombs, which you could go down, there's all these walls with these beautiful, amazing hieroglyphs, and there's nothing stopping you from just touching it, or, you know, like there's times where you're completely unsupervised in a room alone with them. I feel like they weren't being protected as much as I feel like they should have been. And I'm not sure if that's fair to say, it's just, it felt like what we were looking at was so important, there should have at least been a barrier between us and the walls. Like, I could literally go up to and like start touching them, I could do whatever I want with them if I wanted to, but something about that just didn't feel right. Now, of course, we got really hungry after a day of exploring, so let me quickly run you through the food situation in Cairo. Now, I was feeling a bit adventurous when I got to Cairo when it came to the food, because normally I'm a bit more of a safe person, specifically because I have an allergy to milk and nuts, so that can, you know, cause problems. But for some reason I was like a little bit adventurous this time. And I actually loved the food in Cairo. Like, there were so many different flavors, dishes, and there's not much spice. Obviously, as someone from a South Asian background, I always crave a little bit of spice, but it wasn't a problem. It was still very flavorful. You've got this super fluffy bread, aish baladi. You've got these interesting soups, like I tried an orzo soup, which was amazing. You have these really nicely cooked meats. You have these veggie dishes, like this okra one that I tried. I just had a really good experience with the food that I tried. I didn't get sick once, and I wasn't even particularly going to like super bougie restaurants. I was trying some like street food or, you know, some more common places that most people might frequent. I didn't manage to try that vegan dish kosher, which was a big shame. I really wanted to try it, but it just didn't really work out in our itinerary. And one other thing I noticed was that the waiters and waitresses always served with a smile on their face. They weren't even like expecting a tip in particular or anything like that. Like, there is a tipping culture there, but I genuinely felt like they enjoyed the work that they did and the service was amazing. And I'll tell you one thing, I started to feel quite bad. When I went to Cairo, I was expecting rudeness, like almost searching for it, but it didn't really greet me. I did see some fiery tempers and exchanges between people, especially on the streets, but those people at the same time were like hugging or holding hands whilst having those exchanges. So I think this just comes down to an understanding and appreciation of different cultures and how things are just a little bit different to how we might perceive them to be. Not better or worse, that's not for me to say, just different. But what I will say is, say what you want about Cairo, you cannot say that it isn't full of life. One big complaint that people have about Cairo is that it's very rundown. I wouldn't say dirty, but rundown is a fair comment. There's broken walls, you know, sand everywhere, a bit of dirt along the main streets, and I can understand why some visitors would find that unappealing. But I'm gonna give you a hot take right now that you're probably gonna find controversial. And yes, it is influenced by my upbringing, my experiences, and the cultural lens in which I view life through. Cairo has more charm in its streets than most cities I've ever been to. I said it, what you gonna do? It's the people and their outfits, it's the cars with side mirrors hanging on for dear life, it's the teenagers rollerblading between roundabouts at full speed, the way golden hour hits this golden city, the little birds singing in the morning whilst you sip your coffee, it's the architecture of the mosques, the pyramids and the museums steeped in deep Islamic and pre-Islamic history, and the families and friends who sit out late outside their favorite restaurants, sharing stories and laughter under the dim street lamps. I have never visited a place with such a bad reputation, but ended up leaving that place with such a strong desire to return. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't just listen to what people have to say online. Go out and explore with an open mind, experience other cultures and religions with respect, and yes, you should safeguard yourself from common tourist traps and mistakes, but in the end, try and form your own independent opinion on the places you've experienced and then share them with the world. And I'm not saying this to kind of take away from the bad experiences that people have had. I've seen loads of videos of people in Egypt, and yes, they have had poor experiences. They've had really disturbing sort of like scammers come up to them and ruin their entire holiday. I get that. I just don't want to trash a city which I just so happen to have had an amazing experience in, and I wanted to share that with you. So thank you for watching. I will put in the description the different cameras that I was using, the film stocks that I was using, and ask me any questions in the comments because there's a lot that I didn't mention. Make sure to check out my Peak District video for more TX1 film photography, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.